What's up guys, Chris here, and in this video I'm going over what I love about metal drumming. So I'm just going to preface that I've been playing drums for about 10 years now, and I've been playing metal for about 8 or 9 years. Now in the beginning I was always into rock music, and over the years that developed and I got into heavier and faster stuff. Now some of my earliest influences included people like Joey Jordison, Ray Lazier, Chris Adler, Tim Young, George Calais. There's the YouTube drummers obviously, Luke Holland, Alex Rudinger, and a bunch of other great drummers. Now I think what's always drawn me towards metal music is that it's a very powerful and energetic genre of music. You know, in my earlier years when I was kind of struggling with a bit of depression, metal music was something that automatically I could gravitate to, and it was just something that really matched my mood and emotions. So already there I was developing a strong love for this music, even though I was still very new to drumming and it was quite a technical and challenging genre. It was a genre of music that I felt accurately described and emphasized what I kind of felt on the inside, and I wanted to express that. So learning how to play metal drums was something that facilitated that and allowed me to vent out a lot of that energy, as I'm sure most of us musicians always look to do. Now I've played metal for quite a while, so it's obviously shaped and influenced my playing, but if there's things that I've really been able to take away from it, that would be accuracy, speed, and technique. Now I think accuracy is huge because for the most part metal tends to be very high tempo and you're playing a lot of notes in a short amount of space. And what that requires is that you're very accurate, precise with your playing, that dynamics are on point, even though there might not be much dynamic variation in comparison to other genres. There's such a need for consistent dynamics and keeping the power behind the song. For example, you can come across a lot of people who play metal at a very fast tempo, but it comes out very sloppy. I think metal really requires a disciplined and consistent level of dynamics to obviously deliver and convey that sense of power and aggression that you get through the music. For example, blast beats. Something that requires a lot of endurance, but also requires that you are dynamic and powerful when you're playing. For example, a blast beat is not a very technical groove or beat, but to maintain a blast beat with power and control at, say, over 220, 230 beats per minute is a very difficult thing, and that takes a lot of practice and patience, which I think is something that greatly affects a lot of metal drummers' kind of philosophy and work ethic on the drums, because it's something you have to spend so much time with and you have to stay consistent with it. Because, for example, as I've taken a few weeks off metal drumming, I've already found some gaps in my playing and sloppiness, and I've found trying to hit those tempos that I was playing before after taking some time off has been quite a bit more difficult. So it's something you really have to work at maintaining, which I think then translates into having work ethic on the drum kit. Now technique is so important in metal, because of course when you're playing at such high tempos and you want to maintain endurance and be able to play long fast patterns for an extended period of time, you need endurance. And in order to achieve endurance you need good technique, you need solid technique. A lot of beginner drummers and people who are just generally new to metal drumming will perhaps tend to play a bit more stiff. So say if they're doing a blast beat or something, they might be using a lot of, you can see a lot of their body becoming tense and they kind of over fatigue themselves very quickly. This is where technique is so important, and that you're utilizing proper hand motions, whether it's purely relying on finger control or wrist. But the key is that you want to be conserving your energy. And so there's obviously also a lot of technique when it comes to the feet, because the double pedal part is obviously a challenge. So you have things like the heel toe technique, heel up technique, heel down technique, swivel technique. Now I also have a video on the swivel technique and how I learned that, because it's something that greatly helped my double pedal playing and maintaining control and consistency at higher tempos. Now, there's also kind of little tricks you learn when you've been practicing metal drumming that will help you conserve your energy and allow you to play for longer periods of time. So for example, if you're playing a 30-second note beat, or, you know, again, I'm just using blast beats because they're a common example, or say you have the double pedals going, just knowing how to throw in certain fills that allow you to kind of cut back on the amount of notes you play for. So say you go from 30-second notes to 16th notes, or even an 8th note fill, that alone will help you conserve energy as you go back into, say, the next verse or whatever it is. So super important that you play loosely, but not so loose that obviously you lose dynamics, but you want to avoid being stiff and playing very rigidly, because that's going to waste a lot more energy than you'd like. I think metal becomes extremely satisfying to play the better you get at it. Obviously, like most genres, because you're nailing these super fast songs with so many notes at such a high tempo. I mean, for me, I can say that it almost feels like you're flying. Now that sounds crazy, but honestly, if I'm playing a double pedal thing and it's like, you know, my upper max has been like 220 beats per minute, when I can nail that and hold that consistently with the song and play along with it clean through, it's something so satisfying. And I think knowing that it's such a challenging genre and requires such accuracy and speed, once you nail that, it's so unbelievably rewarding, and it really helps emphasize how the practice and focus on technique greatly affects the improvement you'll see on the drum set. And lastly, I mean, it's fucking metal music. It's fun, it's energetic, it's upbeat. You know, obviously it's not for everyone, and I actually wasn't into a lot of it when I was younger, but it's something I developed a taste for. So I think you shouldn't be too quick to dismiss metal drumming, even if you think you're not into it, because especially nowadays, there's so many subgenres of metal, and I feel like there's at least a song or an album or an artist for just about any musician or music listener. It's just a really fun genre of music to play. Metal is just so energy inducing and something that just lets you feel so kind of powerful and satisfied, and I'm sure, you know, you tend to have quite the endorphin rush afterwards, like you would at the gym or after a workout. You're gonna be sweating, you're going to be sore, at least in the beginning, but as you improve, the music only becomes so much more fun to play, because there's so many different bands out there with different levels of challenging music. And when you nail certain songs that you would have thought were almost impossible for you to play in the beginning, it becomes the most satisfying thing. So even if you're not quite into metal drumming, let me know what kind of skill level you're at, or what kind of music you tend to enjoy, and I can do my best to actually try provide you a list of bands or musicians or songs within the genre that you could actually give a go, because I truly believe that there's something for everyone in the genre. It's too simplistic to just sum metal up as one thing and either you like it or dislike it. Just fine if you dislike it, but I think most people tend to overlook this style of music a bit too easily. And I think that when you do find a band or a style of metal that suits you or that you enjoy, hopefully you'll feel what I feel, which is such a source for just expression and physical exertion and just feeling empowered after you play. So that wraps up today's video, guys. Just a quick summary of why I love metal drumming, and it's something that I've had to learn to balance along with my love for genres like hip hop and pop and funk, etc. It's something that I think drummers shouldn't become so fixated that they don't focus on anything else, because that's what I did early on, where I was only playing metal music and it hindered my playing in other aspects. So I think it's always important to be a balanced player, but give it a go. It's super empowering, it's super badass, so much fun to play. And if you do have questions, guys, please leave them below. I would love to help you out. And if you like the video, dislike the video, tell me why. Subscribe if you want to see more. There's going to be more playthroughs, lesson videos, etc. Also, make sure you check out my Instagram. There's daily content there. And yeah, until then, happy practicing, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace. So first, I'm going to preface that I've been drumming for about 10 years. In my earlier years,